Birch sap has long been a traditional product that has been used when people who are foraging or they're going along the trails and they needed something to drink. If you break off a branch, the sap will start flowing from that branch if it's the right time of year. And when you drink it, it's really good water. I was interested in doing birch tapping and birch sap and started exploring it and looking into it, and then somebody said, oh, Val's interested in that. Val works for Extension as well, but I was in Palmer and she was out here at the farm. So I called up Val and we decided that we were going to do a class.
The rest of the United States, I think, hasn't really gotten very far into birch tapping because they've had the maple syrup. And maple syrup, it only takes 30 to 40 gallons to get 1 gallon of syrup. Birch, it's more like 100 gallons.
So with birch sap, there is a lot of liquid, and if you wanted to make 1 gallon of syrup, you would have to collect from 100 to 120 gallons of sap just to make 1 gallon of syrup. So you bring it up to a boil or just under a boil, and you cook it, and you cook it, and you cook it, and you cook it.
You know, it's been used by Scandinavians and Russians for hundreds, probably thousands of years.
I would assume sourdoughs would use it for their pancakes. Sourdoughs meaning, you know, old-time Alaskans. I moved up here in the early 90s, and my dad had always wanted to go to Alaska, and he was a dairy farmer, so had to be close to home and never got here.
I moved up in 1990, and I did a master's and then a PhD, and then I just stayed.
And so I thought, well, I'll try it. I don't have any obligations right now. I found a job. With cooperative extension, your job is to find out what the needs are of people in the community. Okay.
People really want to get back to nature and be able to do something on their land. People like that connection with their land. And I grew up in Vermont, so I have a connection with maple syrup. Birch syrup seemed like a good one.
I grew up in Wisconsin, where the maple industry is popular. I remember going with my dad. I loved the sugar candy that they made out of the maple sap when they were sugaring. So I have that positive experience in my background, and then people started asking questions. Okay, good. Look, we got some debris.
I think people come up here because they're different and because they want something a little different than what they can get in the lower 48. Alaska has a lot of pristine environment. So there's a lot of health benefits to be gotten from going out and collecting a lot of different things from nature. You know, our berries have high antioxidants. Our birch trees actually have a lot of high antioxidants as well in the bark and stuff.
One of the things with sap is just drinking the sap. It just tastes really good. You can also use that sap, heat it up and use it for tea or coffee. You can concentrate the sap, but one thing I was experimenting with the other day was making birch soda. Look at all those bubbles. Alaskans are a hardy crew, and I think that Alaskans are quite innovative, and they use the things that are around them, and I think that's fantastic.
I think everybody should, get out there in nature, and a lot of people like to pick berries, and I think they should, if they have a birch tree or two in their backyard, they should tap one and collect that sap and just enjoy it, and have a nice little spring tonic to boost their energy in the spring after the long winters we have up here.
Can you try?
Sure.
Okay. You gonna try some? There you go.